Former WNBA player Sophie Brunner is mourning a devastating loss after her mother, 61-year-old Darcy Connolly Brunner, was killed in a head-on collision in Illinois involving an undocumented immigrant with a troubling record of drunk driving. Authorities said the fatal crash occurred on Saturday afternoon in Freeport when 30-year-old Rolando Ico Chalk, a Guatemalan national, crossed into the wrong lane and struck Connolly Brunner's vehicle. Both were pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators are working to determine whether Ico Chalk was under the influence of alcohol or drugs at the time. Officials confirmed that Connolly Brunner, a married mother of 4, was sober. Her death has shaken her family and the close-knit community where she was known for her generosity and devotion to others. Sources told the New York Post that Ico Chalk entered the United States illegally in July 2021 by swimming across the Rio Grande River. After being detained by border agents, he was released into the country with a court date scheduled for September 2026, allowing him to remain in the U.S. for years despite lacking legal status. Stevenson County Senator Andrew Chesney confirmed that the U.S. Department of Homeland Security was aware of Ico Chalk's presence in the country. Expressing outrage, Chesney said that Connolly Brunner's death was entirely preventable and the result of a man who should never have been allowed to remain in the country or operate a vehicle. He detailed the migrant's criminal history, which included charges for driving under the influence, aggravated DUI, and battery. Public records show that Ico Chalk's run-ins with the law began in March 2022, when he was arrested for driving under the influence and operating a vehicle without a valid license. He pleaded guilty to misdemeanor DUI charges and was placed under 2 years of court supervision. Despite being banned from driving, he was arrested again for DUI in February 2023. He again pleaded guilty and received another period of supervision along with a brief jail sentence. In June 2023, Ico Chalk faced another arrest, this time for domestic battery, for which he was sentenced to 6 days in jail. His repeated offenses and light punishments have intensified anger among local leaders, who believe Illinois' policies leave residents vulnerable to dangerous offenders, particularly those in the country illegally. Senator Chesney criticized the state's Trust Act, which prevents local law enforcement from collaborating with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement to detain and deport undocumented immigrants, even those with serious criminal records. He argued that such policies place more emphasis on protecting individuals in the country illegally than on safeguarding citizens. In his statement, Chesney said he would not stand by silently while repeat offenders in the country unlawfully were allowed to harm others. State Representative John Cabello also spoke out, directly blaming Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and state Democrats for the situation. Cabello said the fatal crash should never have occurred and placed personal responsibility for the tragedy on the state's leadership. The loss also struck a personal chord with Stevenson County Sheriff Steve Stovall, who revealed during a press conference that he personally knew Connolly Brunner and her family. While fighting back emotion, Stovall emphasized that he would remain impartial in overseeing the investigation and let the evidence speak for itself. He described Connolly Brunner as a kind and generous person who made others feel valued and welcome, adding that her death had left a deep void in the lives of those who knew her, including members of his own family. Darcy Connolly Brunner's daughter, Sophie Brunner, has made a name for herself in sports, playing for the Phoenix Mercury in the WNBA in 2017 following a standout college career at Arizona State University. The Brunner family has been a point of pride for their community, making the sudden loss all the more heartbreaking. The suspect's immigration status, his extensive criminal record, and the circumstances of the collision have reignited political debates about border security, state sanctuary laws, and the justice system's handling of repeat offenders. Many critics argue that the combination of lax enforcement and light sentencing created the conditions for a tragedy that could have been avoided. Authorities are awaiting toxicology reports to determine whether Ico Chalk was impaired at the time of the crash. They reiterated that there is no evidence Connolly Brunner was intoxicated. In the aftermath of the crash, political leaders, law enforcement, and residents are grappling with a deep sense of loss and anger. Calls for policy changes are growing louder, with demands for tougher immigration enforcement and stricter penalties for repeat DUI offenders, particularly those without legal status. For the Brunner family, however, the focus remains on grieving the loss of a woman remembered as compassionate, dedicated, and full of life. Her passing has left an irreplaceable void in the lives of her loved ones and her community, serving as a painful reminder of the human cost when dangerous individuals remain free despite repeated warnings and convictions. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more updates on celebrity deaths and news updates.